Hey there guys, Furby here. Today we're going to be going over the fundamentals of group gameplay in Wildstar, and although we're not going to go too in depth, I am going to give you enough information to make sure that you are doing your job perfectly. Now the first rule is absolutely non-negotiable. If you are a DPS, you must take assault power. If you are a tank or a healer, you must take support power. I cannot stress how important this is. The next thing to talk about is line of sight. Line of sight is the vision a unit has on its target. Say you need to move a ranged NPC, but he's not moving because he can shoot you from a distance. Running around a corner is going to solve that problem because he needs to have that vision of you in order to attack you. Now this is mostly useful for taking enemies away from patrols, or perhaps just putting it into a larger area to allow you to fight without pulling extra packs. So the next thing I want to talk about is interrupting and interrupt armor. Interrupt armor allows a unit to withstand a certain amount of interrupts before the effect happens. So, as a basic example, if a unit has 2 interrupt armor, you need to have 3 successful interrupts in order to have the target stunned, knocked down, or whatever the effect may be. 2 of them will remove the armor, and the third one will be the effect. I highly recommend the add-on Interrupter. It's the bars you're seeing in the middle of my screen. Dependent on how many interrupt armor the enemy has is how many bars there are, and there's also a cast bar to allow you to see when the enemy is casting a specific ability. Now the last thing I want to talk about is group utility. Don't just be selfish. If you're a DPS, maybe look at your class and think, right, is there something else I can take? I know that spell slingers can go into their void zone. As a warrior tank, I can take a big area AoE that will reduce 20% damage taken to the entire group that stood inside of it. There's lots of things you can do with your class that are very, very good for your group, but you will have to sacrifice slightly, either perhaps for losing an ability that perhaps could have you do a little bit extra damage. It's absolutely worth it. In these kind of fights, in these kind of scenarios, you really do need to be thinking about the group as a whole and not just as yourself as an individual. So that's it really guys, that's all you need to know. These are just the very basics, but you're going to get better and better as you go through, and it's just practice. Practice makes perfect. These are the core functions, these are what you need to know. Work on top of them, progress, and you'll do absolutely fine. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next time on Nexus.